Hey up everybody, Magpie9901 here, bringing you a Forza Horizon 3 video. And yeah, it's been a while since I've done one of these, but they have just released the Hot Wheels expansion for the game, and to coincide with that they've also released a PC performance patch. So I'm going to have a look through the details of the patch to let you know what it's meant to fix. So one of the biggies that we've got with this patch is that it's improved CPU performance. And I'll read directly from the patch notes so that you get a full idea of exactly what they've done. So improved CPU performance. We've observed that a large portion of players are CPU limited when trying to run Forza Horizon 3 at high frame rates, including locked 60 FPS and unlocked. By analysing telemetry, we have developed targeted optimizations for this group of affected players by increasing the number of concurrent threads used by the render architecture. We have taken further advantage of DX12 capabilities to allow the visuals to be processed out of order during the frame, in order to reduce synchronization stalls and decrease CPU execution duration. These changes result in a significant CPU performance gain on high and ultra settings when running on PCs of recommended spec or better. Now, I was one that noticed that obviously with my rig it is quite a powerful one, and I noticed that there was dips in FPS and it did struggle. There was like a blip every so many seconds within the game. It was only like a minor pause of the game, but it was noticeable. The gameplay wasn't as smooth as it should have been, and credit to 1010 Studios, they admitted that there was an issue and that it was something that they would look into, but there was no instant fix for it. And we're I don't know now, 6 months down the line since release, 6-7 months, and obviously they've had to gain a lot of feedback, get hold of a lot of telemetry, as they say, basically watching how people play the game and taking the feedback through the game, and that's allowed them to put this patch out now. Now, I haven't played the game since the patch, so I don't know if it's totally eradicated that issue, but any kind of boost in performance, especially for people that are running on high or ultra settings, you know, you want to run on those settings, but you want a smooth as gameplay out of it. If you have high and ultra, you want high and ultra, you don't want to be pegged back by the game or the system itself. So there was some, I think, poor optimization of CPUs out there, but they've managed to change that now, and all being well, they've eradicated those issues. They've also updated the thread model, and again I'll read direct from the patch notes for this one. We've updated our threading affinity model to make better use of all available cores. Along with this change, we have added a new graphics option to disable the new model, should you prefer. This option can be found in the video settings menu under threaded optimization. And this is basically related to the fact that the game didn't make much use of all your CPU cores. It was bound to maybe 1 or 2 cores, so the rest of the CPU would sit idle while one core would be basically doing all the work, which can effectively create a bottleneck in your system. So now they've managed to space it out between the cores, so it should run in theory smoother in that regard. And for those on lower spec systems, there are some bonuses for you. They've also added some graphics options for you, so I'll read again directly from the patch notes. We've also added some additional graphical options to improve frame rate for those playing on lower specification PCs. These include dynamic geometry quality now has a very low option. World car level of detail now has a very low option. These are combined with some existing options to create a new very low preset that can be used with dynamic optimization. Additionally, all options have had their description updated to include information on how each setting affects the CPU performance, GPU performance and available VRAM, so that players can better understand the performance impacts that tweaking each setting will have. So for those of you that are on lower end systems and struggle to play this game, you are now able to drop your settings even lower, and all being well, that will create smoother gameplay for you. Along with this, they've also revised the minimum specs for the game, and the minimum specs are now as follows. CPU is an i3-4170 at 3.7 GHz. GPU is an NVIDIA GT 740 or an AMD R7 250X. You need 2 gigs of VRAM, you need 8 gigs of system RAM, and you can now, and the minimum resolution is 1280 by 720. So obviously they're trying to open up the scope and breadth of players that they can now include in the player base. Before it was a little bit more narrow, it was, you know, you needed a good spec system to play this game. They're now opening it up a bit more for those with the lower end systems. Obviously listening to community feedback, obviously looking at what people need and what people want, and giving us what we need and what we want. So big thumbs up to 1010 Studios on that. I'm not sure that it should have taken this long to iron out some of the CPU performance issues. You know, it's been a long time, and by now people have either moved on on from the game or aren't going to bother with it at all. So, but for those of us that are still playing, me kind of included, even though I ain't been on it for a while, you know, it's a bonus for us. So this patch is automatically applied through your Windows 10 store. Should just be downloaded in the background, you probably won't even notice it. And that's all the Forza Horizon 3 news that I have for you right now. So thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.